It's been years-long extradition process when it comes to Tahawwur Rana, the key mastermind behind the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. He has entered his last lap as far as a team of Indian investigators that took custody of him yesterday. They're on that flight, and that flight is going to land in Delhi by this afternoon. Now, they have held meetings, boosted security measures, prepared that last-minute protocol to handle this high-profile prisoner. He's set to return to India today. He is India's most wanted, who is accused of plotting the 26/11 terror attacks in Mumbai. He is on his way back to face the law. He will land in the afternoon and he will be arrested by the NIA. So far, there's a joint team of the NIA officials as well as a research and analysis wing that is reportedly bringing him back on that special flight. To know more on this, we have my colleagues joining us. We have Anuj joining us from Marine Drive in Mumbai. We have Saurabh joining us from the Badwar Jetty in Mumbai. We also have Sunil Prabhu joining us from right outside the NIA office. Sunil, over to you first. Take us through the arrangements that are in place, security that's been beefed up as far as the NIA office is concerned. Will he be brought to the NIA court first, right from the minute he lands?
Well, I think the first thing that as soon as he lands is he'll be formally arrested and then taken in a prison vehicle. The South Delhi District Police have been asked to assist the NIA. Whether he'll be brought to the NIA or taken straight to TR jail is first of all, of course, it's required that he will have to be produced before the designated court. It will be an in-camera hearing, so most likely that he'll be brought to the NIA headquarters, and that's the reason for them beefing up the security here. Once that's done, then he will of course be, if he gets police custody, then the joint team will interrogate them. But on their part, the government, of course, has started various measures to ensure that it has its house in order. For one, the special public prosecutor, Mr. Narendra Maan, has been appointed, who will assist the NIA in the investigation in this case and will be the interface between the NIA as well as the special judge of the NIA court. Having said that, there are a lot of questions that they need to ask Rana about his role. There are, of course, many who say that he's a small player. Be that as it may, he definitely facilitated one of the key conspirators, David Headley, who has done a plea bargain and hence won't be able to get extradition to India. But the fact of the matter is, of course, that there are still who employed him, how did they go about this entire process, who were the other state actors from Pakistan or non-state actors, whether it was the Pakistan establishment, the ISI, the Pak government. All those questions will have to be answered, and it's in that backdrop that the government is ensuring a foolproof security measure to ensure that as soon as he lands, not only is he presented before the NIA court, and what we are told is through in-camera, because they don't want to take any chances at this stage, and then of course comply by the extradition treaty to ensure all those human right considerations that the United States had asked. It's taken a long time, nearly 16 years for that entire extradition. He was, mind you, he was arrested by American authorities in October 2009. We are still in 2025 waiting for him to land on Indian soil, and hopefully for our multi-agency probe to get answers to what was a horrific and terrible attack on India, especially the city of Mumbai.
Right, of course, he is going to be arrested first. That is what you're telling us, Sunil. Of course, let's just, go across to our colleagues as well. Let's go across to Saurabh, who is joining us from Badwar Jetty. That is the exact spot from where, these people came in. There were 12 of these terrorists that entered India, entered Mumbai through the waters. Saurabh, take us through the role that, Tahawwur Rana has played out in, as far as, planning these attacks. He was in India 5 days before the attacks took place. He left 5 days before the attacks. He was in India in the month of November from the 11th to the 21st. What all was he doing in India in order to, make sure that everything went as per plan? This was a plan that was hashed between Headley and Tahawwur Rana.
Well, Tahawwur Rana's role is very important, and it's important given the fact that David Coleman Headley, who of course secured a pardon after turning a prover in the case, did tell the Indian courts when he deposed from an undisclosed location in the United States before an Indian court, he detailed the role, he detailed how he planned it, and in those details lies the devil. The devil always lies in the details, and of course, Tahawwur Rana's role is very, very significant. What did he do? Firstly, David Coleman Headley came to Mumbai before the attacks to do recce of the targets. He, of course, was helpful in providing all those inputs that those terrorists used when they, of course, landed in Mumbai. They landed here in Badwar Park and then, of course, went into the city and caused mayhem for 3 days, attacking prominent establishments and attacking the city and attacking India. Now, Tahawwur Rana, of course, facilitated David Coleman Headley's visits to India. How did he do it? Tahawwur Rana ran an immigration firm. The cover that was provided to David Headley was that he would open an office of that firm in Mumbai, and that's why he was here. So, of course, all of these details, the planning, the logistics, all of these things, that is something that Headley did, but he could do it only because of the support that Tahawwur Rana provided. Now, like Sunil was mentioning, a team from the NIA is, of course, bringing Tahawwur Rana back to India to face justice. And let me just tell you this, the current DG of the NIA, Sadanand Date, who's of course a very well-known officer, was in Mumbai that day fighting the terrorists at the Kama and All Bless Hospital. He in fact himself suffered injuries taking on Kasab and his associate at that hospital outside, and then of course we know that on that day 3 officers also lost their lives, Hemant Karkare, Ashok Kamte and Vijay Salaskar, who were in that area as well. So these are very well documented facts, and the fact is that these terrorists could not have known all of this, how to get from one point to another, how to move around, without actually having the kind of logistical support that David Coleman Headley provided. And David Coleman Headley couldn't have done what he did without the support and facilitation from Tahawwur Rana. So Tahawwur Rana's role is important. Tahawwur Rana has to face justice in an Indian court, and therefore he's being brought back to India.
Right, of course, let's just go back to Sunil Prabhu joining us from right outside the NIA office here in the national capital. Sunil, take us through the processes involved when it comes to extradition. Of course, assurances have been given to the United States in regard to his security, his legal rights, his prison conditions as well. But, security, like you mentioned earlier, has been beefed up. What is it that we can expect, considering the fact that perhaps he will be in a high security ward in Tihar jail? So what are the steps that are in place at the moment?
Well, those steps are very, what is being done is nothing really special or anything like that in terms of, for Mr. Rana. He will definitely be treated like any other normal prisoner, but of course he's a high security prisoner, and there will be 24 hours CCTV. There will be, complete monitoring. Those bathrooms that they have, they will ensure that, they basically it's open to thing, and to ensure that even though there will be issues of privacy, there is very clear guidelines, because they don't want any unfortunate incident to take place. There have been incidents in Tihar where people have attempted to commit suicide and other kind of incidents. So it's in that backdrop that he'll be under a close watch, and definitely he's a high valued prisoner, because it has taken India 16 long years. There are missing, points in the jigsaw puzzle which have to be now pieced together. He's one of those who will be able to hopefully give those answers. As you were talking about it, there's been no stone unturned. As we speak, in the Indira Gandhi International Airport, the prison vehicle has come with escort vehicles to ensure that he is escorted straight with the assistance of the NIA. The entire multi-agency team had gone there at the level of an Inspector General of who's the DI investigation to sign the surrender document in the United States of America, and they are accompanying Rana. And of course, once he's brought here, he will be formally arrested. Once he's arrested, he will have to be produced before the designated court, most likely in camera, and that's the reason for why you can see here at the NIA headquarters they're taking no stone unturned, sealing off the entire place. Yesterday, this wasn't an Alcatraz. Today, this is completely sealed off. No vehicles being allowed here. I think they don't want to take any chances at this stage to ensure that there are foolproof measures. This is somebody who has to be able to answer a number of questions. There are lots of people who have lost their lives, who were injured. Some of them we are very lucky to be able to get away untouched, but it has been a horrific crime that has been committed against India, and it's in that backdrop the NIA, which was actually a creation post 26/11. In fact, when you look at India's fight against terror post 26/11, everything changed. The NIA, the National Investigation Agency, was created. The fight against terror became much stronger. It became empowered the center to take decisions on terror across the country as well as abroad, and that's the reason why he's now being tried on Indian soil in New Delhi because of these cross-country and across the world connections, and that's the reason why they would like to get to the bottom of it.
Right, Sunil, let's just go across to Anuj, who's joining us from Marine Drive in Mumbai. Well, Anuj, this extradition process, it does take time, but it's taken us 17 long years. This is an effort by Prime Minister Modi to bring to justice those who attack India's honor, its land and its people. What does this really mean for the people in Mumbai? Get us a sense of how the people in Mumbai are feeling today.
Divya, we've been talking to the people in Mumbai for quite some time now as far as the 26/11 attack is concerned, and their belief in the process of continuous diplomacy, helping or assisting in getting them justice or getting all those responsible for these heinous attacks back in the country has always been intact. But at the same time, 26/11 is that one black spot in their memory that they do not necessarily want to revisit time and again. And as a result of that, we can see that, we do not see as many conversations about it in public forums, unless it is, the anniversary of it, unless it is the observing, certain important dates regarding related to that particular incident. However, more importantly, we've also been speaking to a lot of victims and their families, and they have been talking about how it is extremely important for the prosecution to happen in India, because we know that David Headley's prosecution happened in the United States of America, and later on there was a lot of important information that the Indian side got from him, but then the fact that the ones responsible for executing this attack and the ones who were quoted or touted as the masterminds of this attack were never in India for prosecuting is something that had left a void in them, as far as David Headley is concerned. And this prosecution, if it fulfills completely, something that is going to give them complete satisfaction is what we could gather from our conversations with them. And that is exactly that goes parallel to the efforts put in by the Indian government, Indian diplomatic team, and the Indian authorities as such, not just since 2019, but ever since 2008. We've seen continuous efforts being made, but of course these efforts got accelerated in 2019 when, Tahawwur Rana was then eventually arrested in 2020, and then while on one hand he had his legal appeals and judicial appeals that were going on in the courts of the United States of America, while on the other hand, the Indian side was in constant touch with the American counterparts to try and get him back to the Indian soil. Now, there are still a lot of doubts on when exactly will the kind of punishment that the people would want him to get will eventually be meted out. That's a far-fetched idea because he's just been brought back to India. So procedure will take a lot of time. However, the fact that he will be tried in the Indian courts, he will be tried on the Indian soil is something that is that gives immense amount of satisfaction to not just the victims that we've been speaking to, but also to the general Mumbai public.